What is the use of staying in a profession whose future is insecure, whose importance in future is going to downgrade, whose productivity or efficiency to the industry will downgrade in future, whose scope is declining in future? What is the use of studying, putting your heart and soul into studies, and that to real difficult level of studies, into a profession which will not be able to give us a flourishing career? What is the use of putting our hard earned money of our parents in a course which will not yield a fruitful future for all of us? Review report to you. Your review report is not going to come in your examination. It is not there in your syllabus. It is not there anywhere that will impact a CMA student. Then why am I discussing this review report again and again and again? This is my fourth and hopefully the final video on this particular topic, which is the review report. I've created 3 more videos prior to it. Video number 1 concerning the generic overall summary of what the report entails. Video number 2, where I have discussed the comments which FICCI has given and what are the future steps which we need to make sure so that FICCI's point of view changes, or at least we are able to infuse the idea of cost audit, the importance of cost audit in FICCI's mind. Third, where I've discussed the threshold, monetary threshold limits, wherever the scope of the cost audit and cost records are decreasing, wherever the scope of cost records and cost audit is increasing. I've discussed the monetary threshold in great detail in my last video. And in this particular video, I am concluding my entire conversation. Yes, time to quit. What is the use of staying in a profession whose future is insecure, whose importance in future is going to downgrade, whose productivity or efficiency to the industry will downgrade in future, whose scope is declining in future? What is the use of studying, putting your heart and soul into studies, and that to real difficult level of studies, into a profession which will not be able to give us a flourishing career? What is the use of putting our hard earned money of our parents in a course which will not yield a fruitful future for all of us? These are precisely the comments which I have been receiving from all of you for past many days now, on the YouTube videos as well as on WhatsApp. Many of you have contacted me personally and we have had a conversation on this personally. So today I'm going to answer all such questions of yours, all such doubts of yours, especially the CMA Foundation students who are asking me, sir, we are in CMA Foundation. Have we done anything wrong by taking this particular course, by choosing this particular course? Should we move on to some other course? Should we shift to some other course? This is the question which CMA Foundation students are asking me very frequently. So in this particular video, no technical analysis of the report, no technical analysis of what are the comments of various stakeholders to the report, but a very honest one-to-one conversation between a mentor, between a guide, between a teacher and his students and the future CMAs. So just an honest conversation. Guys, I have worked for over a decade in the big fours, in their various departments. I have worked closely with CFOs of big companies. I have done audits of many multinational companies, including companies who have thousands and crores of turnover. I have professionally gone through and seen a lot of stuff in my more than 1 decade journey of being in the corporate world. And one thing that I've been able to understand throughout my journey was that every profession in this world is dynamic. No profession is constant. No profession is stagnant. Because if a profession is stagnant, then it is going to get obsolete. Think about medicine profession, think about engineering profession, think about architecture, think about accountancy. The way things were happening earlier are not happening anymore. Things are changing. Absolutely, the technology is taking over. So human beings are finding newer ways to become relevant, to become up to date. So everything is dynamic. Everything is changing. The income tax slab rates or the income tax rates, at one point in time, I've heard this from my teachers and mentors, that at one point in time income tax rates were close to 90%. Yes, 90% of your income you had to give to government of India. There was a time after independence or something like that. So things have changed from there. So there's a dynamism in every profession. Similarly, in accountancy, financial management, costing, taxation, every profession has got dynamism. And that is the beauty of that profession. To become relevant or to remain relevant in this dynamic world, we need to change ourselves constantly. And such changes might be on a positive side, might be on a negative side. Both are to be embraced and welcomed wholeheartedly. And yes, this is a small change which has occurred or which is proposed to be occurred in our profession, which is cost accountancy. No, it is not absolutely negative that the scope of the profession is degraded, or it is going to be absolutely dark and not certain. No, absolutely not. There are several clauses in the review report which will give impetus to our profession, and our profession is going to see heights of success in the near future if those proposals come into place. Yes, there are monetary thresholds which are detrimental to the profession also, which might reduce the scope of cost audit and of course cost records a little bit, but the positive aspect is also not to be ignored, and it cannot be ignored. So there's a balance between positive and negative in this review report. And of course guys, if you want to be in profession, there has to be dynamism, there has to be ups and downs. Even chartered accountancy profession, company secretary profession, civil services profession, you talk about any profession, they are not devoid of dynamism. Things have been changing, regulations have been changing, syllabus has been changing, scope has been changing. Some ups, some downs. Doesn't mean the scope diminishes, doesn't mean the scope ends and the future is dark. No guys, absolutely not. The scope of CMA profession was bright, is even brighter, and future is brightest. There cannot be any scenario where the scope of CMA profession goes for a toss. No, this cannot be a scenario. Both for people who are seeking job and for people who are doing practice, scope is ample. Scope is ample. So please weed off this thought from your mind that we are in a wrong profession and we are going to switch profession. We are going to go to some other profession. Absolutely not a wrong thought which is coming to all of you. The videos that I have created in past, it is just to make you aware of the current happenings. Because guys, these things which are happening, these concern you, these should bother you, and these will be very, very relevant for you when you are having a one-to-one conversation with your interviewers, when you are having one-to-one conversation with your principals under whom you are doing articleship, and so on and so forth. So these are very, very relevant conversations. You should be aware about it, and that is the reason why I've created 3 videos prior to this video on this particular subject, which is review report. But it doesn't mean, yes, in those videos I have I have been scared because somewhere monetary thresholds have declined, so I am scared. Of course, I have expressed my fear. I've done that, but doesn't mean that everything goes for a toss. Doesn't mean that scope of profession goes for a toss. Absolutely not, guys. Absolutely not. So every career is dynamic career. Everything that you do in your career is dynamic. It changes. It is not stagnant. Be it medical profession or engineering profession or any other profession of the world, nothing is constant. Nothing is stagnant. We need to upgrade ourselves constantly. We need to listen to people. We need to adhere to their feedback and change ourselves accordingly. So it's the need of the hour. It's a very, very, very important reality check. This report is a reality check of what CMA profession is to the stakeholders. How do they feel about us? How do they think about us? And what new can be done in the CMA profession? And it's an absolutely fabulous opportunity for all of us to introspect on how can we improve the future of this profession. So that is why I'm saying that please do not feel that the profession is downgraded, because Change is inevitable, and this is just a small change which is proposed, which you might see, in law very soon. But nothing to be worried about, nothing to be fearful about, nothing to be scared about. Guys, cost accountants, apart from cost records and cost audit, there are plethora of opportunities available for the cost accountants. So even if a little bit here and there, little bit monetary threshold reduction or little bit monetary threshold having an adverse impact on your cost audits or cost records, even if something of this sort happens, then we have plethora of opportunities available with cost accountants which you can do in your future. Please understand the subjects which you are studying in your CMA intermediate and final, that is taxation, GST, financial management, accountancy, organization management, strategic management, cost audit, business valuation, financial management, cost management, direct and international transactions, international taxation. These subjects are one of the creamy layer subjects, knowledge of which is definitely going to give you impetus in the near future. These subjects are not read or studied by any commerce graduate, or they don't have this expertise which CMA has in these particular areas. So do not worry at all. There are plethora of opportunities which are available for the cost accountants. Even if there's a little bit of here and there in cost records and cost audit, please don't worry at all. Absolutely, the thought of quitting CMA is absolutely it is baseless. It doesn't have any base. Shouldn't come in your mind at all. In fact, I'll encourage all of you, put in your heart and soul, CMA foundation student, CMA intermediate student, CMA final student, put in your heart and soul in this particular profession, and this profession is going to give you glory that no other profession can give. Yes, in the past examination or after the past examination, there have been students who have been bagging a package of 27 lakhs, 22 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 18 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 10 lakhs in the campus placement. There have been amazing journeys like this, and many more. Last but not all the least, as a student, what can you do? As a student, how can you contribute to this review report, and what is my expectation out of all of you? Why am I taking so much of pain to explain the nitty-gritties of this particular review report to my students? What do I want from you? Why am I saying all these things to you? Why am I explaining the review report to you? Your review report is not going to come in your examination. It is not there in your syllabus. It is not there anywhere that will impact a CMA student. Then why am I discussing this review report again and again and again? Guys, I want you to be our partners in the change that is going to come in future. We want you to be the drivers of change, which means that it's every student's responsibility to sensitize your seniors, CMAs whom you are in touch with, your society at large, to sensitize them about this review report. Please be drivers of change. Just sensitize everyone about this review report. Just tell them what is this review report, what are the comments of this review report, and what harm and what positive things can we expect from this review report if it comes into play. Please sensitize everyone. Talk about this review report with your seniors. You are doing articleship in big CMA firms. You are doing articleship in big PSUs. You are doing articleship in big MNCs. Please sensitize your seniors, CFOs, the cost directors, the management of the company about this review report. After that, please ask them to submit their responses within time, which the Institute of Cost Accountants of India is going to compile and submit it to Ministry of Corporate Affairs. You should request all your seniors, everyone whom you know who are eligible to submit the responses, and even you are eligible to submit the responses, but it is better if a qualified CMA submits his responses, and it will be really good. So please ask everyone to submit their responses well within time to the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, so that everything can be compiled and submitted to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Please do this, analyze, ask them to read the report once, and whatever points you can get, please do this ASAP. Last but not all the least, connect with all the possible resources you can. So you might be knowing any person in FICCI, or you might be knowing any person in ASSOCHAM, or you might be connected to some MP or some minister, okay, or some local administrative person whom we can fetch a letter from, saying that cost accounts or cost records and cost audit is useful or not, something of that sort. Please use your resources. Connect with any member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India if you have any such resources, and help the Institute of Cost Accountants of India in compiling the responses and submitting it to Ministry of Corporate Affairs. It is really each one of us responsibility to connect with the relevant resources wherever we can, connect with the relevant resources and bring about some positive change in the profession as such, and in the profession level at large. And that is the reason why I have been haunting you video after video about the review report. My objective was not to scare you. My objective was to sensitize you. And yes, many of you have responded really in a very good way on my videos. You have given amazing comments that yes sir, this needs to be changed, or this doesn't need to be changed. You have understood the monetary threshold. Best part is, even CMA intermediate student who do not have cost audit in their syllabus, I teach cost audit to CMA final students, right? CMA intermediate student do not have cost audit. They have very limited portion of cost audit in their syllabus, but they also understood the limit and they were discussing the limits with me. That is the beauty of togetherness. That is the beauty of unity, and that's what is expected out of all of you. So the idea is to sensitize everyone about this report and to give whatever best we can in form of our responses. And once again, I would like to clarify, guys, no quitting the profession. Scope is going nowhere. CMA profession is going to stay. It is here to stay, and it is definitely one of the best professions which the country has. On that positive note, all the very best and happy studying.